Okay, when you get MetaTrader loaded, they actually have in here a robot that I can see a moving average system, and I think they're using MACD at the end of the run of the robot. You'll see MACD. This was based on moving average crossover, and I have no idea what the system settings were before I edited them, but I did edit them to what I'm just guessing. I actually don't know what's going on under the hood as far as why this stop says this number and all these things. So I just took a chance because it's fake money and it's the weekend, and how much can you lose when the market's not open? Not too much. So it's a real great way to test your psychology of what you perceive. All the feelings that come up, you can watch the balance go up and down, so you can dial these numbers in, and I guess there's a guidebook somewhere. I know this moving average shift is kind of the trigger for the moving averages, because unless they cross over, the shift is causing a crossover maybe earlier or later. But it doesn't. I'm starting off with small numbers because I really want to run as tight as I can to the market, where this thing's literally going to buy and sell. If it's going up, it's buying. If it's going down, it's selling. I mean, super tight. I put the first value at 1, second on 2 moving average. I think I turned on moving average by hitting decrease factor. I'm not into that. I want to blow the account up. So I'm not into decreasing anything. I'm into just pedal to the metal trading on these settings. Maximum risk, I try to make it pretty high, because I'm not going to put a lot of money in the account. So it's a grow your money system. It's not a preserve your wealth system. You're not going to take some psycho bot that you built on a moving average and run it on $1 million. It's going to wake up in the morning down 50%, right? But if you've got $100 in the account and you want to get to $300, and you can see that the robot could handle the terrain, the next kind of terrain that we go into, you have to name each robot, though, for each market conditions. Just like you need a library of scripts, you would need a library of robots. Now, you can just get tablets for $70 and run your robot on that. Or you can have there's a free mouse bot that will remember all of your clicks, and it can actually pick up the colors. Say you had an indicator to turn red, you can click here and it'll sample that area of the screen, and when that area changes, it's going to look at it every 10 seconds or whatever, or every second. I guess any change in the color of that is going to trigger it, and then boom, it's going to remember all your mouse movements. So if you're going to go over and say click on 3 plunge orders over here on your script bank on your navigator, it's going to do that, and it's going to cycle every time it gets that. So that's kind of like a trading assistant. It's a little bit better than it. It's the only cure if you can't build an indicator that's talking to your EA, which the bridge for that is just a mystery to me. So if anybody knows how to bridge an indicator to execute, and actually execute not just one order, but have a whole plug-in area, like an array of 8 available scripts, 10 different styles of entry, 10 different modes of transportation, and backup, just, so this is just crude though. But this is an exercise in psychology. Imagine that you're drawing your channels on this, and you also are trading, letting the robot make its order flow decisions, and you have to monitor yourself, see how you feel about the robot trading like a moron, and you think you're better than the robot, and this whole competition of decision is enough to, you can even do this when the market's open. So you're testing the simulation, and the real market's open on the other side of the room. You have to have another computer or something maybe, and just get used to the fact that if the market's dead in Asia, and you don't typically trade Asia, you don't trade a market that's just going sideways. There's nothing to do. But there's always orders to place on those setups. So here, I'm going to let the robot play this back. I'm on the 1 hour chart because I tried to go to, and I'm running a liberal 10 pip spread here. So this is the Australian against the U.S. and it's a 10 pip spread, so it's pretty liberal. I mean, it's really, some of my losses are just the fact that the spread's beating me up. I'm trying to be realistic. I put so this kind of a spread built in. I guess you can go to 50. It seemed to crash on on 5 pips. Let me see if it crashes on 5. Oh, it can handle it. So I'm going to go 5 pips. I'm going to tighten it up so I don't look like completely. Now I put a template to slow this down on top. That's the standard template. It's trading its ass off. This is my just line chart on top of a bar chart. So I think it's sold here, but I don't see it taking profits. I'd be getting the hell out if it was me, or I'd be buying right here. I think, at least on this trap. And I can look at the equity here. I can look at the amount of money this thing's. It goes long and short. So this is a bi-directional moving average crossover system. But you can take this down to realistic speed if you want to try to really believe that this is happening. I'm missing the little adjustment for the speed here. Of course, in playback mode here, sometimes it's hard to... computer doesn't want to respond if you have a old 286 or 8088 or something for the crudest version. So here's a breakout. It's still short from here, the moving average crossover. I think super tight. Literally turns on a dime there. Of course, it'll get whipsawed if the market should go. You always run the risk of whipsaw. I don't know, still in this trade. I guess this will not print out a profit till it closes this thing out. I wish I could just get out here, but I don't think I could intervene on the behalf of the... I don't think I can run any scripts right now, like close all profit. Anyways, I'd be getting the hell out of that thing. So, yeah, it's just kind of nice to, and then here, if you can stretch the, you gotta fix this every time you relaunch the bot. Let's see, you're coming up on critical support here. So they can blow this thing out easy, right? That's just 1 day of data, every dotted line. And now you could do your analysis on top. So say you've got this thing trading behind you, and you're watching this thing, make sure it doesn't, how it's behaving, basically what you're thinking. How do you feel about this thing trying to help you? It's like the guy in the store, can I help you? And like, no, do I look like stupid? I just got to get in and out of here. It's like, I'm here. It's a trade. When I go to the store, I feel like I'm trading. Give me my stuff. Get out of here. People that's just like these zombified people. They're sitting in some carb aisle, staring at the products. Like, come on. Can we move along, people? And if you do these channels on lines, it makes sense. See? Makes sense on the line. Because it's telling you, okay, by here I got to put a buy limit in. So it looks like a respectable trade there. It doesn't look too ridiculous. And of course, I'm buying here anyways because that's where all the people that think it's going to keep going down. Okay, this is a 1 hour chart. So let me speed it up a little bit. It still hasn't taken off that winning trade. I'm a little disturbed about that. That's the problem with these markets. You just just don't have the patience. Let me speed it up. To take some slow you down pills, do that Bill Cosby thing, give me some Quaaludes, start trading. They say though the market's like a woman, so maybe I should just be. Oh, here we go. So that was like the auction. That'd be the first stop. The scalpers got out here at this bottom. But that's why I'm nervous that this robot hasn't decided to take profits. But he is running a trailing stop. I think I put that in the code. I can't open the properties now, but see, it got stopped out on the trailing stop, so that's very conservative, the way that thing's been built. And nothing magic about the settings, it just bought, see? It just bought because the damn moving average crossed over. But I set it super tight because I want to see some action. I want to see some action. I want to make money, damn it. Okay, so it took a little equity bounce there. We haven't blown the cut. We start with 10 grand. All right, woof. It just went and chopped. So I just got chopped. They went short now. Canceled out the other trade. Took a hit there. Time to call my old employer. Oh boy. So, see, I wish it was short here. And that was right on the timeline, trend line. Okay, my buy limits are getting filled. So I'd be buying like a whore down here. I can just tell you straight out. Forget what the robot thinks. Who's not buying this plungeola? But you can practice this stuff and see that this is not as scary as it looks. Now, you have to have scalps built in there, obviously. And if they stop you out, it doesn't matter. You got orders all the way down to here. All the way to another possible landing into this. See, now this is how you're right here, right? We're right here. Woof. I'm long on this hammer. So you put buy stops above that hammer. And you're long on this. You just scalped this 10 pip. This is the 100 pip. Look at the revisited the 100 before the plunge. This happens a million times. I don't have a 50 pip handle here, but this is the 50. This is a big deal. So you scalped out of that. Now you're waiting for these orders to fill. 50 pips. Buying a 50 pip, canvassing a 50 pip area. This is how you sell stuff door to door. You canvass, like people caught on the phones, you know. Call 1,000 people. Get one guy to buy something. I mean, people do the math on that crap. They got these, boiler rooms. They sit there and just call people all day. Now, another thing is that if your orders are going to disappear, like by the end of the day, these orders are gone. So you're really trying to get this this rate of change here dialed in. And right now, you got the buy stops running. This thing went and sold here. I should have run it tighter. And it sold 0.90. God, where did it get that damn entry? I don't even know what's going on here under the hood, because why is it buying so big? I told it to buy really small, like 0.001s. It's buying 0.90s. So it's in $90,000 right now. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's designed to really trade light, but oh well. But we're making money. Look at that. Now, hopefully the trailing. So the robot's right for once. This is the buy limits are filling up, and you're short. But that's like a trend bot, really, because it really got in on this doji crossover right when we crossed the moving average. Okay, so this could be the big trap. Everything below this this line here could be the trap. So if you're holding through this whole thing right here, maybe this is the news just came out, or this is news at the end of the session. Now, this is probably right around. Since this is 5 p.m. here, so this is probably around maybe 11 in the morning. Crude oil news just came out. But who couldn't see that, huh? Perfect lineup on close. Forget the wicks. Never draw on the wicks. There's no time punctuation. There's no kick drum. How do people play music without these kick drums? Now the kick drum's like so insanely dialed in, sampled out to the end of the zenith of audio kind. Jesus. Can you get more like contoured on that? Here's a great triple, quadruple bottom. Spills out. And here's the doji entry. The retest, you just have to hand place those. But this robot, now I don't know, I get stopped out of that winning sell. So he's coming up a little bit off the ground here. He's a little upset. I couldn't imagine managing something. See, that's a scalping exit. So if you gathered this whole morning, look at that. Look at that brutal reversal. So look how that's really the target, and you see how quickly that happened. I mean, that is literally like about a 40-second. When this thing, look how fast that wick was put in there. So you just practice this feeling of buying into these plunges. You just can't even. I mean, everything's telling you, "Oh God, I'm getting killed." Right? This is a 50 pip canvas zone right to the round. Now, down at the round, you could have a big fat order or a cluster, another cluster. So this goes on forever. Like these patterns, I mean, this idea of buy low, sell high, where you just have this whole grid. Now, some of these could last to the end of the day, say at the 100 or just 10 pips above the 100. That lasts all day long. These guys only last for 4 hours. You're not even getting filled on those yet. When it finally fills, plus you're running buy stops above to catch it if it ever comes back. Here, you really didn't, you get a little trapped there on that. But if you're also running the sell stops, so you really have to have this thing where you got buy stops, you got hedge going, you got buy limits down here, you got take profits up here, you have sell limits up here. You're continually placing orders based on the latest. Now here's a perfect bottom becomes a top right on that hammer doji. Just punch through, pull back. You've seen that a million times. Here's resistance. What does it do? Punch through, pull back to the breakout point, bam. Now you can either place a buy stop here and risk, or you're buying at a limit, come back to the breakout point. It's just over and over again. It's the only thing that changes is the magnitude of these things. It's all that changes. It's all about magnitude, expansion of volatility. So look at the guys that sold here on this wick. They're just laughing all the way to the bank. They took it down and took out this wick. This happens so many. Now this is the argument to buy this retest of this low. You just have orders down there. Okay, you scalped it. Plus you bought the, when it's making a lower low, you want to be buying the lower low. Forget this lower low crap like, oh well, it's in a, look, you just scalped 30 pips off that. Are you nuts? Now you buy again down here. This is like, come on, this happens so many, and this is a 1 hour chart. So when you see this thing, you got buy limits down here now. Obviously, you just keep running that same script. All it does is buy. This is so dumb, it's just going to hurt your brain. It's just buying, say, every 10 pips for the next 8 hours with a stop here. Of course you're risking a lot on this top order. This is just a crude example. But the script's designed to play out this scenario. If it only catches the top order, and that's your scalp, in other words, this could be the scalp up here, this could be the big winner, and this could be this, and this could be risking this to make this, whichever way you configure the array. So if the array looks like this, where the market's here right now, you are here, and we could go up or down. So if you place a buy limit down here, 40 pips deep that lasts 4 hours, 30 pips deep that lasts 3 hours, 20 pips deep that lasts 2 hours, the market has to come down and pick one of these guys up. Now, if this guy has a stop in between, this guy has a stop in between, so you're getting kicked out if it comes tearing down. And if it only picks up this top order and that's got a scalp, or maybe they're all designed to be super greedy orders, like every order in that bank is, just call it the greed script or something. And it's just going to buy every 20 pips. But this is going to be a monster order with a stop here and a take profit here, and this one's going to be a like a stop here to make this much, and this one's going to be just a scalp, right? maybe a scalp here to make 20% or something. Like that. This is be 100% to double your money. So, and the market comes, and you don't know what's going to. Mind, not forget that this order here, this one style of ratio, could inside here include the fact that you're literally buying every 2.5 pips. So you're buying a 3K here. Now, there's a soft stop here where these are separated by the same amount, and the profits are separated by the same amount. So you have a scaled out profit zone, a scaled entry zone, and a scaled stop zone, like a soft stop. Instead of one big stop here, you're spread over, say, 7 pips. Now, these kind of that idea of buying a retest, your take profits need to be your first consideration. So if you're trying to buy, your target's going to be here if you're buying here. So here's your cluster of take profits, and here's the entry zone to buy. And you just hand place these, or you just have this hard coded. And here's your stop cluster of 3, say. And that's it. You're looking the market comes down, hits. Now, how long does this script last? This is your entry, take profit, stop. That's the key. The deeper it is, the longer it should last. If you think the market's going to move down, well, and you would wish it would move at this perfect rate without any zigzags. That way you could run a perfect trailing stop, and everything would be perfect. And the moment it turned around, it would literally turn around. But it's such a choppy road down there that now this is in the end, this is a 20 pip soft stop, and this is a maybe a 50 pip soft take profit, because there's a cluster up there. And if you just if you can't manage all those orders, you just hire people to place all those stupid orders. Okay, let's see what happened here. So yeah, another retest down here. Go figure, right? Retest. Now it's just crazy. We've looks like we're starting to want to go after this stuff up here again. But look at all the money here. This one here, if you bought this and you only scalped 20 pips out of that, and you had another chance to get in, so there's and you just keep on tagging off of this. Of course, we kind of broke this channel. This is the breakout pullback. The momentum's dying. So if the channel's hard, we're always going to be putting buy limits down here, though. And the robot went and bought because he got the moving average crossover trend entry. Let's see if he's making any money. Okay, he's just getting his ass kicked. He's just down here. So he's waiting for a big breakout or something. Let's see, he's getting chopped in this consolidation. He just went long here, probably get stopped out now. And this is the internal bottom that you've got to imagine. This is a big deal. The bottom inside the top. We ricocheted off that. So from just a horizontal price situation, and here's the double bottom we're revisiting here now, but the buy limits would start here where the value area is, the nice price. So they've said on just before CDs got really, they call it the nice price. Well, the robot's hanging in there. Look at. So he was right after all, but it's very choppy, very spastic. And if I had a hotkey to run a buy stop right now, I think I'd drop that. So another thing you do is rehearse the whole what you would do. Of course, now we're going to go into Asia here, and this is kind of when the news comes out, and about the next couple of hours, there's news usually comes out of Australia. And you can have that wackadoodle. The big news comes out, and that's the time when you want to run those super deep, by 300 pips deep for the next 2 hours, 8 hours. 12 hours is a great time frame if you're a disciplined trader, like a big swing trader. You're going to be like, okay, just. I know, and the nice thing about a 12-hour order is if you drop it every 2 hours and the market's moving down to 50 pips per hour, it means you just laid a giant bank of orders down there to capture a spike. And that's probably the most money I've ever made trading, is buying the wick of a hammer and holding through the top, if it's a bullish hammer, holding through the top of that. Just destroyed my data feed. I don't know what's going on with these. Oh, jeez. Okay, well. Anyways, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm offline, so we're just playing back the market here. Oh, well, yeah, so, but look at the robots hanging in there, Dad. What a trooper. I don't know how to manage that stop there. It's still long from, it's giving quite a liberal stop, and now it's only in a 10, so God knows what the money management's going on under the hood there. But it's just, it's a way to imagine another person's point of view, to have the trend, if it's moving average crossover system, I guess you'd have to call it a trend bot, running in the background while you're making decisions based on market structure and things that painfully obvious. Like this retest here now, see, that was always the feeding zone. The buy limits would have been here. And this big sell-off here, when I see that, I just think, well, they're going to come grab me. I usually, if I miss this from a stop entry volatility breakout system standpoint, this would be when you may want to have two robots running. I think you have to run them off separate computers, but because you would want to take advantage of these quiet sessions here, and it breaks out, right? And you scalp something on that. And you also have this guy running. So they're trading against each other, the robots, a little bit. Just to diversify, I think it's, but see, he's not big. He should be in 100K right now, right? He was almost in 100K and then short, and I think he got stopped, so I should probably keep the position size linear on this thing. But that's not the point. It's not like I'm trying to, you cannot build a, like, the robot needs to be able to think 5 different ways simultaneously. It's like if you make a robot, typically it's got a mission. It's not going to try to run 5 styles simultaneously. I guess it could. But I think it's better to realize, okay, well, is it time to launch the Asian bot? So that would be a breakout. Like here, if you only drop the, of course, maybe it only initializes, I can't tell this one to wait for a bar that's 10 pips, but that would be the filter here. 10 pip bar, put on a hedge, walk away. Looking to make 30 pips, 10 to make 30. So 10 to make 30 happens quite often in breakouts of Asia, and then there's fake outs though. So any robot, look at sold here at the crossover, the dojis. So this is kind of a doji bot in a way, just because crossovers happen during congestion, and that's what the doji is. But anyways, oh yeah, and this trap up here. If you zoomed out a little, one more level, you see this constant tagging into this area. So you see this fake out. Oh, we broke out. Oh, really? How'd that work out for you? So that's the seller's window. But you need to keep putting these orders up here and then put the buy limits down here. So here, buy limit was here based on this top. You took a little heat there. That's why you need a basket. You cannot just trade one price. Like here, you're long and you're up on this trade, but look at this 30 pip smash. There's a top to place an order. So every top and every bottom gets an order on the 1 hour chart. So you have an order here to buy and 20 pips of smash, even beyond that. Then you have the buy limits down here if we ever came back here, but we never did. I guess if you look at this pivot here, there's a triple bottom there. You could place an order there. But you just don't want to cheat. You know, you need a reason for each order. If this is the double bottom, if this is a shoulder that goes back, plus even here. Now this would not have got filled, but this is just like making up jewelry that people don't buy. This is like creating inventory that people aren't interested in. The robot's right again. It's short here. I wish I could. Now it's short on a big ticket. Oh, it's short big and it's long small. Maybe that's fucking getting killed in this thing. Yeah. Well, here, look at a little inspiration. There was hope for the account. I don't know. Something wrong with the sizing here. I can't edit it now. We're just going to have to. Well, here's the retest of this. So here was another place you needed to have your order again. And here again, we could retest. The next logical exit's going to be if they retest this high. So constant noise, constant garbage. And here's their first chance to draw. The first uptrend line was here. So there was a reason to think about this. This could be going up now. Okay, it's another entrance. So constantly giving you money. This thing's constantly, it's like literally that you just got to have that ticket available. 10 pips in an hour. 10 pips every hour. 10 pips buy limit. 10 pips deep every hour. You just got to get your brain wrapped around this canvassing idea where when you launch these scripts, it's almost as if you called 40 houses at once asking me, well, like, you know, do you have a voltmeter on your like your smart meter? You have to outsmart the smart meters and get your own smart meter, right? You tell people, listen, what you need to do is have a USB connected to your meter so you can monitor your own stuff, right? So you can go a lawsuit against the power company. And so this is why you have to, you know, you can't, there's no way, if you don't want to risk more than 10 pips, there's no way around that. You have to find a system that risks 8, 12, 20 pips. And it matters only because if you can't get an account smaller than a micro account, it's going to be a problem even to trade some of these crazy pairs where you're risking, you know, geez, you know, I mean, a lot of money. Australian dollar here is not so bad, but this is a lot of pips. This thing go up and down 80 pips a day. Up 80, down 60. What the hell? Look at this last move here. Ba-boom, doom. And here was, if you're long from this, because you're like, yeah, it's an uptrend. I mean, how do you know it's an uptrend? It's the closing price, not the, it's none of this lower low, lower high garbage. That's all market maker stuff. That's scalperville. All wicks are market maker moves. Because price over time. Now, you could build a channel off of this. Right? Look for a channel envelope. So you go here, you put it to the side, oh, it matches up. It's crazy. That's the target, but it doesn't mean you're going to make it there. Sellers are going to come in right past this wick. Okay, now you're going to fill in sell limits. Now you're a scalper. It pulls back. Ching, you're out. This is how it is. Every time. Every time with this crap. Now, for the guy that's holding on for his target, okay, God bless him. But if you want to make 10 pips, look at that. Now, if this is a real breakout, that was the pullback, the retest, now we're going to go. Maybe not. Of course, this is coming into this news just came out. Oh, look at that. So the guy that's short here at this pivot, if he held through that, he's up 20. But you got your buy limits down here. Maybe you just got filled on these buy limits. Another revisiting of the same damn price. So people say the market's not going anywhere. Well, thank God it's not going too hard at this. I mean, if they fill all your orders all the way down to here, so that's why these have to start evaporating at some point, right? Otherwise, your exposure, say the market goes bam, and we've seen it go like bam. Like, look at this. Are you kidding me? If you started buying here all the way down, you're like, oh, oof. But what if your orders only last 12 hours and they start here in a big basket, right? You don't have to be there for that stuff. That's where all the money's at. Who doesn't want to get in short here and ride it all the way back to the starting gate of FIS? Who doesn't want that trade? Well, just, you don't know the exact time and place, right? I mean, this is a 20 pip window of absolute, man, just give me like if you get a truckload of stuff, if you get 3 cartons of stuff, inside there might be like, okay, the corner's bashed off of this. It's never perfect, right? You never get all your stuff in one. Like, oh, wait a minute. There was a problem with your reader on your card. We swiped your card. The magnet's all destroyed. Sorry. Oh, your call is very important to us. Please hold. I mean, who hasn't gotten this crap in life? But, man, so you have to account for that garbage. Look at all these. Look at these 20 pip wicks. So you're definitely buying this whole thing with a stop. You got to commit to these trades. You can't just be, oh well, I don't know. It's just, I don't like these setups. God, the whole market's just a spiky damn mess. If you go to NetDenya and look at their charting and put their bar chart up, I'm not kidding. I zoomed out on it. It looks like barbed wire. There's something about, I don't know if their charts still look like that, but there's something about their charts that just creep me out. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Come back here. One more time. We still haven't made this target on the channel. Look at it, retested the bottom of the channel. Come on. Right? So you had to have your order down there. And you can't, look at this. They just trapped the guy that had the sell limit on the edge of that. Who's making money here? Come on. You don't need a 5-minute chart to scalp. You're sitting out here just going, oh yeah. Right now you got buy limits down here again, all over again. Hell, at this point I'm dropping by 5 pips deep, 8 pips deep. This is what the whole weekend. Just play back the market and look at the slow churn up this thing. Don't forget there's some guy who bought down here, or some bank, right? And they're holding here and they're like, yeah, man, this thing's going to the moon. I mean, they didn't even get out here. But if they didn't get out here and they rode it back to here, they're feeling pretty stupid. Look at this thing, man. Another pullback into this just mind-blowing retest of... Oh my God. See, I'm totally long off of this one. Another retest of that damn stupid... Oh, you just made 20 pips on that. So if you had a 20 pip take profit, now they're going to try to stomp this. I'm buying everything all the way down for the rest of the day. Right? I'm buying every one of these. There's scalps in there. It's not just one order. There's scalps with swings, with and if I don't get my target, I just dump the whole mess. The only thing hard about this is that if you just bought this this failure to take out this wick here, I mean, if you're watching this on the 5-minute, you're going to need a diaper. Because this is so violent. You can't even believe. Now, watch this. You take this thing down here. And now, you have to buy these lows, though. You have to step in front of these markets. You could have scalped out of that right up into this. This was you're forced to get out the last known support level. And this is the target for the guy that's bought here. That's his target right there. Okay, he's up. Maybe he's out. Boom. I'd be out. Okay, the whole trade's over now. Now what? Buy more down here again. Another buy limits. Okay, getting filled. Almost on that one. Oh, I'm long. I'm long again. Okay. I know this news came out, looks like. This is what it's about. Just churning, go to churning and earning. Okay, you can rehearse this whole drama on the weekend. Prepare yourself for market plunges, market spikes, markets do nothing. What do you do? What style of trade are you in? If you're on limits, you're very much the market maker. If you're on stops, you're volatility breakouts, in my opinion. And if you're at the market, you're buying on the clock, or you're selling on the clock, or you see the particular price and you didn't have a limit in there, so you're like, damn it, I gotta like, this is like when you realize that you left your seatbelt dragging out of your car, and you're like, you know what is that sound? Oh, that's the buckle on the seatbelt dragging at 80 miles an hour and sparking at night, and the sparks coming out of your car. So I always feel like I'm a little bit caught off guard. I have to buy at the market. I feel a little bit like, well, I didn't plan this out. Sounds like kind of a jump in. And, oh, you caught on fire, did you? Oh, let me just get a gallon of water. And I always just feel like I'm being a little duped. Maybe just paranoia, but I just feel like, oh, so they're trying to make me buy it, are they? And I always feel like the market is like trying to, it's like it's inviting me in. Now look at the guy that bought this insane. They're like, oh, it's good. He is like, now the swing trader, there's still a guy that's long from back here, mind you, right? And he's got a stop here, and he moved his stop to here. After he saw this drama, he said, let's move it to here. Let's, and maybe he's going to get out here because, this, it looks like it's becoming resistance right now. So, let's let the robot keep churning away here. Oh, that was the place to cash out, certainly. And all the scalpers got out here, and they probably took off a little too early off the table. If they got out here and they watched it go another 20 pips, they're like, damn. So that's why you need a spectrum of orders. You need to have these trade plans that are, maybe they max out at 100 pip profit. This is a 30 pip wick, right? And when it comes back here to this is the fair value again. So you always have the orders, not only in Plungeville, down here, these never got filled. These got filled, you made a ton of money. On the sell side, you made a ton of money. If you're selling every fake breakout here. So this being 1 day of data, and this being the high, kind of like the high of the day, the kind of internal inside day trap stuff, man, they don't care. There's no, market cannot see. Here's a beautiful triple top. Market cannot see a moving average, but the momentum is displayed across hard trend lines. So the video I did about the guy with the channels, nothing wrong with channels, but man, you gotta build them right in front of where we're at. Like it does no good, and you gotta build them on close. If you built a channel off of this wick, do you see how ridiculous that is? This is just a market maker spike. What's really going on is, this is a moving average. I mean, this is frame by frame. If you're taking a picture of somebody as they're moving through space, you're sampling them as they run on the field every hour. You're not sampling at, this is literally a tick chart. Well, the wicks are the ticks. The wicks are the ticks. Because this is a sample of the end of that hour. It's a profound timestamp. Sure, the wick popped in there. The market ticked up into that. It's so momentary. But you have to imagine your order sitting down there. You got the buy limits here. And your exit needs to be, say, here. And here for the greedy trade. But, and look at this. A retest again of the same damn price. And you're long again. Could it be more retarded? It could not. All you have to do is keep placing the same stupid ass order in here in this wick window, everything below close, and just quarting off the bodies. So the body is always going to be, and of course this would be on the 4 hour. There's going to be a doji here, right? You can see a 4-hour doji, right? 4 hours of nonsense. 4 hours of indecision. Here's a nice 4-hour cluster of indecision. Here's a beautiful tight one. And more, we keep retesting that area because the market is completely like this most of the time. I wish it was different. You know, this is like, I wish it was different. I wish the market would just make up its mind. It was what you would think when I would see a market going up and I thought, oh yeah, well, I want to go up with the market. Yeah. And then I'm like, why can't we just, why all the chop? Right? What the hell? And here, the scalpers got out at that bottom. You can see their exit. That could have been your place to go short for 10 pips. Constantly placing buy limits, sell limits. Now on the stop side of it, I don't know. You're really waiting for volatility to die down. It's easier to see this bottom than it is to wait for volatility. Now the volatility breakout trading is, I think you need to be like this, where you're watching, waiting for a 10 pip bar. So you can see your entries. Here's your entry here, buy stop. Like, see, you picked up in the order flow there. You're waiting for a small 1 hour. Here's a 1 hour hammer. About almost 10 pips on that. Buy stop on that, whoosh, you're in. So stop entry, you really need to be drilled in like this to test it. But to me, structure limit trading is all about this kind of crap where you're like, okay, I'll buy it down here. Look at this. Come in here again. We're coming back to the feeding zone. Wow, it looks like a hard crush down here now. So you're definitely buying everything from this close all the way down. Now here's where the rubber meets the road, as they say. Do you have the balls to buy this for the next 50 pips down? Hell, I'm already long on this plunge. Are you kidding me? Okay, so just filled this one. Boom, I'm out. Okay, so I'm out. I'm out on scalps for sure, right? Now we reload for a retest down here possibly. You just keep plunking these orders in, man. Over and over again. As long as you pick a pip depth of the market. Now this looks like a big auction trap here. As long as you, but see, the scalpers just got out. See where they bailed? Now a lot of people got short right there. That's the breakout, pull back. Now they all get short because that's the confirmation. The early bird gets the worm, the second mouse gets the cheese, and that was the cheese trade. The breakout people, yeah, that was the early bird breakout. Okay, we were loving it, but you know, these breakout guys at this point, they're underwater, right? Almost right now. Right? If you broke the break out of that wick, you're getting your ass kicked right now. And you're afraid that this is going to engulf this whole thing. And if this is nothing but there's more news that just came out here. The news session's about 3/4 of the way through these days when U.S. and the everything's open at once here during this crazy sessions. So you can just kind of see that wild behavior. It's near the end of the day there. Here, wildness, but man, I mean, make a lot of money very quickly, very quickly. But I think you can lose a lot of money quickly if you're in a trend trade and you're wondering why your equity just got its ass kicked. But if you're trading this from a rebound retest standpoint, you're actually not filled on these orders till they come down into this window where they go for this. There's a 10 pip window here, and that's the capture zone, and you're really doubling your money on that strategy. But anyways, the weekend playback and running the see though we're making any money here. Okay, I'm going to speed this up and see if this thing actually is going to make any money. I guess I'm on the max speed playback. I guess I'm going to have to put a template up that is not so much overhead. Look at this thing just keep edging towards the abyss. Man, look at that. It's always tough to buy down here because you're like, geez, if they take this out, oh. But look, it's nothing more than a fake out retest. The market's just loving the fact that it's getting a deep discount here. Okay, now we could plunge. This is going to be the barrier from now on. I'll just cut through it. So, another argument for buying this over and over again, the same area. It's very much a drudgery. Look at this perfect double bottom on the 1 hour. Okay, the trend line to break now. If you put a hard trend line here, this is the trend line to break. And I don't know where we're at in the big picture, and you really wouldn't want to even think about the weekly at this point. If you just made 40 pips here, I think you're feeling good. This is right off of the big round, so it's about 20 pips below. A retest of this zone. Go figure. It only took 2 days to get down to this area again for another easy buy limit. It doesn't matter whether you trade long or short on this chart. There's plenty of money in both directions. Here, I've got buy limit here now. Again, I have a streaming basket of buy limits here. Looks like we definitely could break this trend line. This is a lot of accumulation. This is 4 days of accumulation, not like 5 days accumulation. And this being the top inside the bottom here, this would be the big kahuna double top on the daily there. Take that, zoom through that. I don't know where we're at here in the chart, what year it is, but it doesn't matter. It's all about unfair and fair value, and this being unfair down here. When you fall into this pit, this abyss, here you get trapped. It's unfair. It comes back to the breakout point, but this is the pivot. Everybody's going to be selling. A lot of sellers are going to be here. Here's where all the stops are for the bears, so you want to have sell limits there to trade the kickback off of that. Constantly, all these kickbacks are definitely adds up. And every now and then, when the market really gets congested, there's going to be a high drama move in one direction or another. It's going to be brutal. Here's a sideways setup for a big blast either way. So you could put your stop out on now here. So you're making money on the short side here, and you got your buy limits down here. This is constant back and forth. Let me see if I can throw in a faster template. I'm kind of curious to see if this thing... I'm just losing money all day long here. I guess I'll put in a simple. Oh, this is pretty funny. FX dashboard. Look, the spread's brutal here. It's locked in on the 7.5 pips. This you got to babysit this dashboard though. Pull the trigger. Oh, bullish move there. I don't know if I'm long. Guess not. This is nice if you're a scalper, but this has got an alarm built into it, which is kind of cute. I want just a volatility alarm. When the volatility is low, I want to know whether I should put a trade on or not. I guess I can't play it any faster than that. Here's CCI. I want to practice CCI trading. Buy low, sell high. And you've just bought here. You really got to rehearse these indicators. Here's CCI double bottom divergence. Buy. Here you get your covering here. Wait for this thing to come down to the 100. Set this at 4. CCI 4. Super tight. Or you're pressing the button right now, like when you see it coming in here but doesn't close, right there you'd be buying. Boom. Now you wait another hour. Okay, you just got in on the clock there. I think it's clock trading really on this thing. Just locked in below the 100 on that. Okay, you just scalped out. You're done. That's it. Goes to doji now. Waiting for another tag below 100 to pull the trigger. Or you still got something in there. That's the thing to consider. Why you need to scale in and out. Maybe you still got something in there. Maybe you scalped out half of that. The other half you let ride. Definitely got a cover here above the 100. If you're going to trade both directions on that. Anyways. That's just, just rehearsing on the weekend kind of stuff.